Here we go. We are live. Hello, everyone. Wow, my brain just like completely just disconnected. Like right when I started like streaming, it was just like, hi. I know it's been a bit since I streamed. I will get to that in a minute. But hello, hi. How are you? I don't know. I feel like I don't know where to start because where I'm about to go with this is gonna be really interesting. At least for the update part. Obviously, that's the title. But I guess I'll give you like a quick rundown of what the stream's gonna be. So I'm gonna give you a little update of why I was not streaming for the last like 2 weeks, and also future plans. I'm gonna say one because it's getting close to the summer, and two in general I have stuff I want to talk about, and then I'll probably go into like a little tiny things, and then we'll go into like the wrestling stuff because that's something I decided I wanted to be a topic for today. So that is that. So the update stuff. I should just get it out of the way, rip the band off. So the reason why I was gone for at least 2 weeks or the first week was I was just not feeling great. I don't know what was wrong with me. I was just not feeling good. I won't get to like disclose into like crazy details. Cause don't need to know my medical history. So but like for the most part, I'm fine. It's just like I was just not feeling great, and then I decided it's just to take an extra weekend off just for like the sake of just sanity's sake, and to sit and ponder and think in general about streaming, because I kind of had an epiphany and a thought process that I'm realizing I'm sitting at a point with streaming that I don't hate streaming. I still enjoy doing it, but I'm kind of sort of feeling like I did back at the end of like 2019, 2020, give or take, where I kind of started feeling very burnt out on streaming. I was feeling like I had an obligation, let's just say, to stream. Different reasons for why I felt like that back then versus why I feel like that now. I can at least go into detail now of why I feel like it. Um the reality is, crazy. Sorry. The reality is right now it's just like I feel like creatively streaming is like not exactly holding me back. I don't want to say holding me back that way, but I feel like it's just I'm not getting the satisfaction of streaming like I have been for like the last like few years. I just feel like I've been trying to like scramble and think of like, okay, well, if I don't want to stream this today, what do I want to do? I just been feeling like, okay, I've been making compromising of like, well, let's just do it anyway and do this instead. I think the really bigger indicator with that was my recent stream before, I popped off, was playing Tekken. And to be fair, nothing wrong with me playing Tekken. I enjoy playing Tekken. But I remember that day kind of just waiting on like what I wanted to do. Did I want to do a podcast? No. Not specifically. Do I want to do more coffee talk? Not really in the mood to like do a lot of reading. Do I want to do date everything? I don't really have to. I don't want to like think too hard and engage so hard with the game. So that's why I play Tekken, because it's just like a kind of no thinky game for me. For the most part. But yeah, so I am kind of sort of making a tough decision and stepping back from streaming. Now, not like immediately. I want to at least I want to try finishing up Coffee Talk. I do want to just sit down, finish that game before I take a hiatus. It's not going to be a long hiatus. I want to mention it's probably going to be a month to 2 months, probably top. Now I know that sounds like crazy because it's like, well, it's almost summer, I usually have time to watch you during the summer or something. I know, and I apologize for that, but I still think I will try for the next few weeks, like I said, to finish up Coffee Talk. Just because I do want to be able to finish that game, just to do so. What I'm also wanting to do is I want to take a little hiatus. I want to take 2 months. And then I'm wanting to make the decision of, instead of doing mostly every week, I try every weekend to stream. I am thinking to go into a bi-weekly schedule. I mean, to be fair, I've never ever really like officially made a schedule for the channel. But the reality is, I do try streaming every Saturday, for the exception of, like, you know, the beginning of the month or the first weekend of the month type of thing. But I, at least at this moment, the quote unquote schedule that I'm making right now, I'm not gonna make promises, obviously, on this one, is going to a bi weekly schedule just so I can feel a little less, like, just overwhelmed, I guess. Because it's like, I feel like, for some reason, I feel like I having to take, like, an hour or two in my day to, like, stream. It just kind of feels like, I don't know. I feel tired after streaming, and it's like I want to use that time to try making more video content, because that's the thing. My original burnout stage back in 2019 was like very in 2020 was very much of like complete burnout, just creatively, creatively in general. But this time I feel actually more creative than ever. I feel like I've had this epiphany where it's like I really want to sit down and do like more video stuff. I want to do more content, and obviously in the meantime I've been doing obviously the Life is Strange stuff. That was kind of halted for a little bit, but hopefully maybe sometime next week I think I will be back on track with that. I have no clue when like Life is Strange stuff is coming out, to be fair. I am hoping before the end of the year, but we'll see about that. But that is still in the works. That is still being made. I just want to have that out there. But I want to do other stuff. Is the point? In the meantime, and again, I want to just do so much things. It's just like I feel like streaming is just like making me feel, I don't know, held back. I guess I feel like there's like an obligation. You know, I feel like I want to make a day of like doing research, because Saturday is kind of easier for me to do that, but then it's like, oh yeah, I have to stream, and then I'm tired afterwards. So I feel like one, taking hiatus will help me, because then I feel like I'll have some time to be able to make like a video or two by then anyway. And also, if I go bi-weekly, at least I don't feel like I have to, I don't know, feel strained, I guess is the word. But yeah, there is stuff coming. There is stuff in the works. So it's not me just being like, oh, I'm not streaming, and then there's nothing out of it. It's like, no. Also, in the general sense, I have so much backlog stuff right now that, like, honestly, I kind of need to get to in general. That, like, if I were to be like, I don't want to, like, if I want to make the hiatus longer, I can assure you that there'll get to a point where there'll be at least some more stuff out more on the regular. So, like, don't fret. I want to put that out there, because I feel like people are gonna go, oh, no, we're not gonna have anything, we're gonna have to wait 8 years. Like, no, there's stuff in the works in general, and I also again have a lot of backlog stuff. So it's like there's definitely like there won't be like the well will not dry up. It is fine, that way. And if I have to make more content, like smaller content, I can, that I can post out within a week. I can do it. My God, my dog is like snoring. But yeah, I just kind of want to take some time to be able to get, like, I don't know, I want to not feel strained creatively. I want to be able to get the stuff out. So I will say I have started doing a script for a video. I will not go into great detail about it, because I kind of want to keep it a little hush hush until I'm mostly finished with it, since I'm only at the starting stage right now. So there is something coming. I will give you more detail on it. All I will say is it is another looking back video. And it's something of the oldie internet. So from the 2000s, I should say specifically. But I will say, to give a tiny hint, they did do a commercial back in the 2000s that is pretty infamous. So that is all I will give for that one. But yeah, so there's that. So I guess there's not really much else to say. So to reiterate, and I probably might say it one more time before I end stream, but for right now, I will soon be taking a hiatus. It's not going to be immediate. At least I don't think it's going to be immediate. I probably will do a video officially of when I will do the hiatus, so there's more people who know about it. But I want to try finishing Coffee Talk 2 first, before going into the hiatus. But when the hiatus will happen officially if I upload. So a video talking about a little bit more detail, and probably repeating myself a little bit, but with more concrete wording. But yeah, that's kind of it. That's really the more update part of the video. Really, I wanted to get into. So there's that. But overall, again, don't worry about like content. There's still content coming. It's just I want to take a little bit of a step back soon. So, and again, it's not immediate. It's not gonna be like right now. If anything, the moment it's probably going to happen, it's more likely like by the end of May, beginning of June. So yeah, we'll go with that. So yeah, so that's that whole thing. My god, I kind of was talking to myself out of breath, so I just need a moment to breathe. But yeah, so that's kind of that. Kind of was like that was kind of weighing heavy on me for like a little bit, and making decision is all just difficult because I've been mostly consistently streaming, obviously on and off. You know, I'm not saying like I've been like going straight through now, like, but like consistently streaming for like about 5 years now. I think it's 2021. I really kind of got back into it fully, swing. So it's like kind of weird that I'm like wanting to take a step back from it again. But like again, it's in a better place versus the place I was before. Was a little different. So that's what's making me feel a little less like weird about it. At least that's what I'm trying to make myself feel like. Okay, you're not like just completely dropping off and then just being on Gus's channel or like Colorful Warfare. You know, that's the thing because that's what happened. It was like I basically just banned my channel for like a hot minute. And it was on Gus's. Teehee teehee. I've talked about this before. You know, me and Gus have talked about this before via via other channels and stuff like that, and here. But like, yeah. But that's not going to be the case. I'm not abandoning you guys. You guys are going to get stuff. It's just, this is going to be officially me saying, like, you're going to get the good stuff, you know? I want to take a little back seat so you guys can get, like, some real fun content, is the point. So, that's why I'm doing it. It's not because I'm tired. It's because I want to give you guys the best I can give, you know? So, that's why, you know? So, yeah, there's that. I'm trying to think of anything else. That's probably it, at least when it comes to update. Other little mini update, just more of like sometimes I like talking about gaming stuff I've been doing because since I'm not like showing you guys game what I do personal gaming time, I kind of like want to talk about it because I just not completed officially, but I did the main story of Astrobot, and I wanted to talk about Astrobot for a second because it is an interesting game. I will say that for sure. It's a good game. It's very fun and very silly and cute. But it's very interesting because it's like me being able to sit down and actually play this game now versus like I think a year or two ago when I saw like it win the Game of the Year award, and I was like kind of scratching my head at it, and I was like, really, that won the Game of the Year award? And it's not to say that like games like that can't win, for per se. It's just like with the lineup that was there, it just kind of shocked me. I think almost in a way. But now I am understanding why in a way because it's very. I think it's like very important that I think this game won because one, there's so much heart to it. There's so much love in this game. It's so endearing. It's a very lovely, especially as a PlayStation fan. I've been like a PlayStation, person since I was like a kid. Even like like I can't recall never having a PlayStation in our house. We've always had a PlayStation console, so it's very endearing to be able to like play this game and go, oh, I know that character. Oh, I know that one. Oh, that one. That one's so cool. Oh, wow. Kind of thing. And even the ones I don't know, it's still kind of a nice little educational moment of being like, who is that character? Oh, okay. It's very, I don't know. It just feels like a homage to gaming in a way. I know that like it's again only on the PlayStation side of things, but like even then they have some characters that are like from other games, like for example Street Fighter. Like they have Street Fighter characters in the game. I think Ryu and Ken, I think it is. But it's just so like cool to kind of see that. Like it really does feel like just like such a homage to gaming, period. And it's also just like so cool the amount of detail they put into the game. Especially like there's like specific level, I should say spoilers, I guess a little bit. Even though the game's been out for like 2 years at this point, I think. Almost 2 years. But spoilers, if you never played it, I highly recommend them. But like the thing is, it's like there's different worlds and things like that, and there's like different worlds for like certain characters. For example, like there's Uncharted type of world you can go through, and you play as like Nathan Drake, with a little gun, and you go pew pew pew, with it. It's very cute, and you get like all the characters from that like world, and it's so like again like it's the tiniest minuscule like details where it's like, oh my god, like wow, they put that in. Oh my god, wait, whoa, I think the one that kind of like made my jaw drop was like I think the first one was like at least the first one I really got, because like they had Ape Escape as like the first level, and I never played Ape Escape much. It was fun though, of a level to play. Getting on the little apes and all that. But like the one that made me like my jaw drop was like the God of War level. Specifically like with Ragnarok and all that. I think it was more basing off of, but it was like so cool just all of a sudden like to get like Kratos' like axe and like turning into him and being able to go, oh my god, you can throw it. Wait, the axe comes back to you like it does in the game. What? Like it was silly. Of course, it's one of those like, why are you getting so overtly excited about that? But it's like they didn't have to do that. They easily could have just made all these levels and just like had them nothing related to like the characters and called it a day. But it's like the fact that like they put so much like detail to it is so cool to me. I don't know. It's I don't know. It makes me nerd out a bit. Or just something very simple. I'll give like a more example that made me really go like wow of a moment is that there's a casino level in like one of the nebulas you can go to. And I was just like having a moment where like one of the little things about this game that's cool is that it gives you like little perk things, for like some of the levels. So like for example, with that level you had like a time little watch thing. So, you can slow down time to like jump on like these like deck of cards so you can get up to like higher levels and things like that, or be able to get through like these areas without like getting hit with like these knives or something, like just examples like that. And one of the parts was like you like jumping on like one of those like the little wheel things with the ball and all that, and it had like these enemies on top of it. And I was like, oh my god, this is like, Sly Cooper. That like one casino level where you can do like the slowdown like thing. And like not even like a few minutes later, I find a little Sly to save in that level, and it just like blew my mind. It's so stupid, it's so silly, but it made me so happy and nerd out. It's like, oh my god, someone played the Sly Cooper game to know to put him in this level. And for me to even think that in the first place was just so like chef kiss like moment of like, oh my god. It just made me so happy and giddy. And there's like of course other characters that fit the levels, type of thing too. Like they had like one of the Persona characters in the game in that like little level, but it was just like it still like gave me such like little kid joy to like see that and be like, oh my god, like they understand, they knew where my brain went, is the point. So I don't know. I think that's the thing about Astrobot is like it's moments like that that like make the game so perfect. It's like it rewards you for like playing these games. It makes you feel good, type of thing. To be like, oh, this character should be here because it fits the theme, and then you go, oh my god, there they are, And I don't know, it's so cute. Also, the game's just cute. Every time I find like the little mini version of a character, I just go, oh my god, look at them, they're so cute. I love it. This game is so good. I sound like a little kid just talking about it, just being like, and then they had this thing, and it's really cool, and you can like wear like the costumes and stuff like that, like things like that. Like they do have costumes in that game, but yeah, it's just so it's endearing. It's such a cute little game, and I definitely see why I won Game of the Year for sure. It's not like it needs to be too crazy or action packed or so deeply story driven. It's just love. Love is something that's like, to me, this like so important when it comes to anything, especially when it comes to gaming and making things with games, because it's like if there's love behind it, then it's like it's going to like do very well because it's obviously something you can see and appreciate. So yeah, Astrobot. I don't know. I'm definitely enjoying it a lot more than I expected. I thought it was going to be just one little small game, but it's like, no, it's definitely, that's definitely going to sit with me for a while. For sure. So, I am definitely, very happy about it. And yeah, if you, this is not a sponsorship, by the way. I should really make that a point there. But yeah, if you like PlayStation and you have one and, you've been playing for like over like 20 or 30 years at this point. Yeah, no, Astrobot is 100% the game for you. It is definitely going to, again, make you like nerd out and go, oh my god, they did that, kind of thing. Like, it's wonderful. It's a wonderful game. So, um, yeah. Mm-mm. Okay. So, anyway, we're now like in the 20-minute mark, and I was rambling on with that for a little bit, but I just wanted to talk about it because it's a fun game. I'm not finished with it yet, but I did finish the main story. But now I have like the other little things I can do. So, yeah, wrestling. That is the next topic. Okay, so this is probably gonna be the thing that'll probably take majority rest of the stream. So, if you're not into wrestling, I apologize, but this is just something I wanted to talk about because I just kind of thought about it and I've been thinking about it for a bit. So, wrestling, especially, I should say probably WWE specifically, but I didn't know if I want to put WWE in the title because it's like, I don't want to be that person, Um, type of a situation. And also, maybe I might talk about like other companies too, anyway. But WWE, for those who are wrestling fans, kind of probably know where I'm going to go with this in a minute because it has been one hell of a roller coaster as of late when it comes to WWE. So, to give a quick rundown type of thing, recently there has been a lot of stuff going on. WrestleMania 42 just happened, and that's kind of the thing I'm going to go into more detail about in a moment, but yeah, WrestleMania 42 happened, and the lead up to it was just not good. It was very, 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 very chaotic. Since the beginning, I would argue, pretty much like that last year or so. So yeah, wrestling has been in a weird spot, specifically with TKO being part of like WWE and like making decisions. There was a recent thing I saw. Unfortunately, I couldn't find it. But it's out there somewhere if you look hard for it. That TKO pretty much did admit that like yeah, they pretty much are very much into this decision making of like how the matches and like creative is going. Which is very bad. I am going to wholeheartedly say that with my chest. Not a good thing. I don't think outside people who don't understand wrestling should, make decisions. That's just a matter of fact. And again, I'm going to say that with my wholehearted chest, because someone might be like, well, what if there's like, criticism of blah, blah, blah. And it's like, how can you criticize if you don't understand the thing itself? So that's kind of more of my issue with that is you can't really make decisions if you don't understand what decisions that you're making, like how, you don't have any understanding of like how it would work or why you would make the decision in the first place. So that's one of my biggest kind of issues. And also in general, again, I'm going to complain. And it's not like this is new information, but this is just my way of wanting to word it and put it out there. One of the things, and I was talking about this with Gus recently too, because it's like, it just came up in a conversation one night. But like the thing is, it's like I hate the amount of advertising. And look, I get it. Advertising in sports is nothing new. It is completely and utterly something that has been around for a very long time. But I think the difference between, let's say for example, because it's like relevant right now, basketball. The basketball season's happening right now. With basketball, yeah, you can see advertisements like on the in the background and like on the court, a little bit, jerseys maybe a little bit too. But it's like for the most part, it's easy enough to ignore because what you're more focused on is, you know, the players and the game itself. You know, you're focusing on the ball and where it's at. So like you notice it, but it's not like completely and utterly like in the way. Here's the problem with wrestling and why I don't like the rings being filled with nonsense and stuff like that. Hell, I understand that this is before, you know, TKO Vince was having like advertisements and stuff like that. I am not saying anyone is innocent here, you know, or like, oh, you know, that's why Vince is better. Because no, Vince arguably was pretty bad. Like, he definitely screwed up a lot of things, too. You know, I cannot also argue and say that, like, he didn't have, like, good ideas for wrestling in general. It's why there's wrestling now. But, like, the guy was out of touch. And he was touching a little bit too much, if you know what I mean. Anyway, we're not gonna get in there. But, so, like, advertisement has always been for, like, wrestling. I can't say it's never been. And, hell, there was a point in time where I was even annoyed with Vince's, you know, stuff where, like, they had added the screens to, like, the barricades to have, like, advertising. Like, that ticked me off. I wasn't happy about it. But you know what? It's not as bad as having so much sponsorship in the middle of the ring. It's so distracting as hell, is the point. Like, the thing is, it's like they're not moving back and forth. They're not, like, doing, like, things that are, like, in the way of, like, the sponsorship. They have Slim Jim tables. Do you know how much that ticks me off? Every time they drag out a table, they have to, like, make sure they drag it out so you can see the Slim Jim logo. It's annoying. It's stupid! Why? Why do we need a Slim Jim table? No one asked for this. No one said, you know what, we should put a sponsorship on the wooden tables that they're gonna break through anyway. Like, why? It takes me off every time. Like, there's a moment where, like, I've gotten sort of used to maybe not really paying attention too much of, like, the ring advertisements, and then they pull that out, and I am all over again remembering, wow, look at all the nonsense in the ring, all the nonsense around, the arena and everything. It's like, God forbid, there's going to be a point, I'm calling it, at some point soon, they're gonna start putting advertisement on the wrestler's gear, and that's gonna tick me off so much that, like, I might stop watching, you know, at least WWE. Because it's like, that's ridiculous and stupid. And again, someone can argue, well, like, that's for other sports. Yeah, but, like, UFC and things like that is, like, it's not as bad or as noticeable because it's like, they're wearing little shorts, you know? I call them, like, little shorts, like, the little thing. Like, they're wearing, like, mostly shorts and things like that. It's not, like, all over them, you know? Some wrestlers have, like, full body, like, gear. Like, are they gonna have it, like, all over them like that? And that's the point. Like, wrestling shouldn't have to, like, you shouldn't have to do that to the wrestlers, is the point. You know? You shouldn't have to do that. You know? It's not NASCAR, where they have, like, the whole, you know, suit of, like, stuff and on the car. You know? It's not UFC, even though, yes, it's owned by a UFC company. You know? It's not, you know, this, that, the other. It's not necessary and it's not needed. You know? You have advertisements throughout the show. That's the thing. You have sponsorships that you can just say and talk about throughout the entirety of, like, the show, and you do it that anyway. So, like, why do we need to do that? I don't like it. It's not a vibe that I'm into. I want them to cut back completely, you know? Like, fine, have the stupid Prime drinks outside the thing, whatever. It's annoying, but it's not always there. It's only when they go buy it and then use it. I mean, I'm glad they stopped using it so often. You know, but, like, fine, have it outside the ring, you know, is the point. Fine, you can have it around the barricade. Whatever. Just stop having it in the ring. Hell, fine, have it on, like, the stupid ring apron if you have to, if you need something. But it's like, no more just in the ring, and no more Slim Jim tables, and just stop. It's too much, you know, at this point. It's like one of the issues I have that way, you know, and I feel like that made WrestleMania just so much of a bummer, is just how much more amp they got with the, like, advertising and stuff. And then WrestleMania itself. Now, I need to talk about WrestleMania itself because I think it's a good example of exactly what's the issue with wrestling at least when it comes to WWE right now. So I will give a quickest summary I can for those who like don't know or really just don't have the information or whatever, or who just want a summary that they, because so much has happened. So I feel like it all started with when it was originally supposed to be in New Orleans, WrestleMania. WrestleMania was supposed to be in New Orleans, and then pretty much Vegas came in and said, we will pay more to have you at our arena in Vegas. And so pretty much they ditched New Orleans and decided that they were going to have Vegas. And that kind of left a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths because it's like, obviously people paid money and expected to go to New Orleans, and probably New Orleans maybe was more easier accessible for some others, that way. And them going to Vegas, like, just made people, upset. They had to cancel, hotels and stuff like that. I mean, luckily they did it pretty quickly and right away. It wasn't, like, right around the corner of WrestleMania, but, like, it still was, like, okay, not cool. So you're willing to, like, go to anyone, for that? That's unpleasant. Then it kind of got to the point when it came to a lot of the marketing, that way it was a little weird, because at first it was like normal, the marketing, they were doing the Vegas type style of like, the poker ads and like the new Vegas-y style, type of thing. But then it seemed like the closer they got, the more they were uncertain what they wanted to do, because then they got to like a futuristic style, and then they got to like a apocalyptic style, and then they settled on doing both for some reason. So like the first night was, I think, the like apocalyptic kind of style, and then they did the futuristic one the second night, which is very weird. I argue, advertisement wise, because it's like, what's the theme? We don't have a theme. Okay, we're doing two themes. That's confusing. I'm not gonna remember what was, because that's the thing. I guarantee, like, in the next, like, I'm just surprised even I remembered the theme, on top of my head that way. And I could still be wrong, too. Someone could be like, actually, it was this theme, and I'd be like, see, point proven, type of thing. Like, I guarantee in the next, like, couple of years, people are gonna go, what was the theme for WrestleMania 42? They're gonna go, I don't remember. Wasn't that the year that they were confused? Oh, yeah, that sounds about right, So that's not good. That way. Then, they were realizing, ticket sales are not doing good. Why is that? And instead of making the, real conclusion of, hey, the world sucks right now. People don't have money. So that's probably why people are not buying tickets. They went, maybe the card is not good. Which, to be fair, yeah, the card wasn't as strong at the get-go, but it wasn't terrible, Drew versus Randy Orton sounded like a pretty good match, if anything. There was something there for that, in that regard. Yeah, this, that, and the other. Like, I can't remember every single, like, card where there was originally, but, like, everything was fine, that way. Yeah, the Jade and, like, Rhea thing was kind of weird, but, like, they'll make it work, right? And then, like, immediately the changes and the chaos, like, happen. Like, literally, like, it seems like not that long after Elimination Chamber, just hell broke loose. Completely. One of the first things I will go into is the Jade and Rhea thing, because that in of itself was so much potential over so little, and yet nothing came out of anything. So, for the whole Rhea and Jade thing, there was a thing where, like, Rhea won the Elimination Chamber on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. I don't care. I hate the site. Point is, there was, a little back and forth, a little, storyline building up on that thing. I forgot the exact details where it went, but, like, pretty much it got to a point where, like, Rhea said, like, oh, you're just all talk, essentially. And it wasn't even anything big. It was very normal, like, procedure, just well, I'm gonna do this. Well, yeah, you're all talk, kind of thing. And Jade, just out of the blue, all of a sudden, just goes, oh, you mean how you're all talk when you go to the creatives in, like, let me find the exact actual tweet for it, because it's very, very specific. Because it's kind of I just put the thing instead of WWE, kind of thing. Type of it was very just like it just was so like it just was like escalated to like 0 to 100 just immediately. So it was very bad, and it was like kind of like a what the hell moment, really. And it was very impressive. I would argue. Okay, here we go. I think I found it. Okay, there you go. All you do is talk, and that's literally it. Talk like the hours you spend talking to creative. And then all of a sudden, Rhea goes, "You're funny. That's funny. Now we know you really do be talking out of your ass, because everything you say is bullshit. Don't spread lies on my name, you dumb bee." So yeah, it very much escalated quite quickly and very unexpectedly, I would sort of argue on that front. All because, okay, here we go. I found the original. Oh my god, it's on Facebook. Why is it on Facebook? Why does it have to be on Facebook and it's so small? At least this one. But yeah, it was just like a video that like Rhea found, and I don't even know what the video was because I never really was able to like watch it in the first place. But it was like, yeah, it was very small, it was very procedural, and then like Jade just said that, and it like got really awkward all of a sudden. And people thought, oh, this must be like a work, right? Like this must be, like this must be like something, intentional that's happening, right? But then other wrestlers started joining into it that were not even remotely part of the storyline. And then people started going, wait, so is this real? And pretty much from like what people have accounted on and like looked at, yes, it was a real thing. Jade decided just to say that and was being very offensive about it. And yeah, Rhea was offended, obviously. Now, here's the thing, and something I've heard like argument wise of like, oh, creative, as in like she was talking about like Adam Pearce and stuff like that. You don't call Adam Pearce creative. You call him the GM. There's a difference with wordplay. It's really important, especially now in the era of wrestling where kayfabe is dead. Pretty much. Yeah, you kind of have to very carefully make sure you're saying something that relates to like storyline. Again, like that's because that's the thing. There was something like last WrestleMania, not the recent WrestleMania, but the WrestleMania before with the Triple Threat, where like Rhea was begging Adam Pearce to be part of that WrestleMania match with Io and Bianca, and that's yeah, that's arguably maybe what she could have been meaning by it, but again, you should have said, oh, like you go to Adam Pearce to force yourself into matches or something. Like that would have been fine. Creative is what you call like real life terms of the people who write the storylines for the show, for like for the wrestling and stuff like that. So yeah, so everyone was expecting like on that Friday, ooh, this might get into like heated territory. Are they going to use this for the storyline? They probably should. There's not a lot of time to build a story. This would be perfect. Nothing. Just an awkward exchange about Jade, just being all looks and she's not a good wrestler type of thing, and that's it. And Jade's performance when it comes to being on the mic was not good to a point where, like, weirdly enough, she got an entourage all of a sudden. Strange. It's like almost like they needed someone to help back her up and talk because she is struggling with that. So, interesting, to say the least. And look, someone can argue they just wanted to do the entourage thing because they wanted to give Jade more credit, But it's like, I see through it, a bit. They definitely just wanted to have some backup for her to talk because she kind of struggles with it. And it's not to say she can't get better as a performer. both wrestling and with, like, you know, talking on the mic. But, like, yikes, you know, kind of not a good thing if, like, you're gonna put someone on the stage of WrestleMania kind of a thing and they're not quite ready for it. It's a bit awkward, to say the least. And I'm not even saying, like, Jade's a bad person or that Rhea's this, that, and the other, you know, because look, I know I'm a Rhea fan. I know that. But even I admitted recently that, like, you know, Rhea is kind of needing a new gimmick, a new thing soon. Like, people like her as is, don't, and again, I like her, but it's like, I feel like, you know, we need something new. Something different. Give me something fresh, you know, for Rhea. Because it's like, yeah, her winning the belt a lot is, you know, only gonna get her to a point where people are gonna just call her, like, the new Charlotte, right? Or the new Becky, or whatever. And I don't think that's what you quite want. So, like, I think in order to get out of that situation, you kind of need to keep changing and evolving so that people can at least say, well, this is a different version of Rhea and this is a different, you know, title reign versus, okay, she has a title, which she won the title at WrestleMania, which was kind of what I was expecting. You know, I kind of knew that, like, with everything going on, I don't think they wanted to keep Jade for ever. If anything, what I hope that this is a time where, like, with Jade being off TV right now, that they can give her a little bit more time to help improve her abilities. That way, when she comes back, you know, she'll be better than ever and actually really do well and have, hopefully, next time another title reign that will be, you know, something to look at and be like, dang, that's a good reign. That was pretty cool, actually. You know, I don't hate on most majority of wrestlers, you know, I'm not that kind of person, but woof, that was rough in its own way. And then we're gonna go into another match thing that was just the most chaotic thing in the world and pretty much what made WrestleMania, I think, the worst thing, mostly. At least made night one bad. And that was the Cody and Randy Orton thing. So remember how I said that it was originally supposed to be Drew McIntyre, Randy, but for some odd reason they decided that, like, they just got cold feet with Drew, I guess, and had Cody beat him to win the belt. And that already disappointed me because it's one of those things where it's like, Drew deserves an actual proper title reign. He never really got one. Like, in the sense that, like, he never got one with the fans because he got a title reign during COVID era. And so he never really had that, you know, opportunity to have, you know, fans cheer for him and everything. Like, I honestly thought this would have been a good time to give him, like, a face run. But instead, they, or even, like, a good heel run anyway with the belt. I don't know what they would have wanted, but it, like, would have been interesting. But then they gave it to Cody. And it's like, great, another WrestleMania with Cody Rhodes? God, why? You know, we don't need another WrestleMania with Cody, you know? And so were the fans. That's how the fans reacted. And they tried making Orton a heel at first. And people just didn't care. They were like, yeah, go get him, man, you know? You deserve that belt, blah, 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 kind of thing. And then they made one of the worst decisions I think, like, they've done in a really long time. And that's putting Pat McAfee in the middle of this feud where he had nothing to have any relation for it whatsoever. And it was just so stupid. It was just stupid. And look, I'm not a fan of Pac. I've never understood his appeal. I mean, at first, when he first started with WWE, yeah, his fan, you know, persona type of thing was, like, endearing. But then it got annoying really quickly, I'd argue. And so I was glad when he was not doing commentating anymore for a period of time. I just didn't think he wasn't that great on commentary. And then him coming in here and, like, being part of the storyline just made no sense. And it's not even the obnoxiousness or him, like, being disrespectful to the company. It's just a why. You weren't part of this. Why are you here? What does this have to do with anything? Anyone could have been part of this and it would have made more sense. Why are you here? You know? And then they added Jelly Roll to it. And it's like, well, good God, okay. And again, it was a lot of why. And the build up to the match was just so confusing, so bland, so boring. The match itself was mid. It was a very mid match. The only thing I can argue out of it is that, like, Pat got RKO'd by the end, and that's all that mattered to me. But like, it's like you can tell how bad it got to a point that even when Cody won the belt, people did not like it. They wanted Randy to win so bad, even though he was supposed to be heel. People wanted Randy. People are bored of the Boy Scout gimmick that like Cody has, and it's like he's still got the gimmick right now, even though he should be turning heel. Because that should be what's going on, but they're not. I don't know why. They're not doing it. They don't want to. I guess because merchandise sales, because for some odd reason we need a Hulk Hogan. Always? For this, even though we don't. We really don't. I think we're in such an era of time in wrestling that, like, anyone can be marketable. God forbid Danhausen is the most marketable thing right now. And it's like, people can argue, really? It's not Cody Rhodes, it's Danhausen? Yeah, it is Danhausen. Danhausen is the best thing that's happened to WWE right now. That is the best thing I can say that's happening right now. And the Sami Zayn and Trick Williams, like, feud. Mid-carders. And I'm not saying that is a mean thing, by the way, when I say mid-carders. I mean, like, things that are supposed to be, like, non-main event stuff are doing well. No one cares about the mainline stuff that's going on, Like, no one cares. They just want they want to know who Danhausen's tag team partner is going to be tonight. As I'm streaming this, it is Backlash, Well, it's not happening right now, but tonight is Backlash, type of a thing. And people are wondering, who's Danhausen's partner going to be? People have been speculating that. People are excited for that, kind of thing. The whole Trick Williams thing last night of him, like, doing the thing with, like, the gingerbread man and his, like, funeral and all that was, like, funny as hell. And it was, like, great. The whole Sami Zayn thing, like, yeah, like, that's one of the perfect examples of being like, well, people are not really a fan right now of Sami Zayn for one reason or another, and he's leaning into it fully and going for it. And that's cool, is the point. Like, why can't Cody just accept that, like, people are not gonna like him and just decide, alright, here we go. I'm gonna go back to AEW era and turn to a heel, type of a situation. It's like they almost are, like, teetering and, like, teasing it, but they never wanting to do it. It's like, just do it. Pull the trigger already. Cody needs a character change. So many people need a character change right now. It's not even funny. But yeah, like, I'll go to, like, the rest of the card and let's say a little bit more of, like, what, like, the first night was. So yeah, so, like, in order, they had a 6-man tag match with the Usos, LA Knight, and I love they say the Vision. It was supposed to be, like, Logan Paul and Isho Speed, I guess, and I forgot who was the last person for, like, what the other person was supposed to be in there. But yeah, it is what it is. I don't know why they started with a 6-man tag match. That is such a weird way to start. That's kind of how things were not really going great for night one. There was the unsanctioned match with Jacob Fatu and Drew McIntyre, so that's where Drew went. Was a weird unsanctioned match with Jacob Fatu. There was sort of a storyline there, but otherwise was kind of boring, didn't care. The only exciting thing for, like, I say, like, night one, really, was Paige coming back for that tag team championship match. That was pretty cool. I'm glad Paige is back, and that is something I am definitely excited to see where they're going with. Then they had the Intercontinental match with Becky Lynch and AJ. Becky got the belt back. I don't know what they're doing with AJ right now. Supposedly she's done, even though I know she's not done. Right now, they're gonna have to do something with her and AJ and Paige at some point. I don't know when, but it's definitely coming. I think AJ still got more in the tank. But yeah, then you got the singles match with Gunther and Seth, which was okay. It was not a bad match, but it was okay. And then there's the Women's World Championship with Liv and Stephanie Vaquer. Liv got the belt, which is really cool. That was not a bad match. It was pretty good, I'd argue. It's just I was very confused by the music video concept thing. So yeah, and of course, like I said, the main event was the Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton thing, and that was meh. Night 2, I will say, arguably was better. Which I think is making me wonder, and I'm also been thinking this for a long time is, and think the 2-night thing is starting to kind of get old, and I think having one night is a little better. Just have it on Saturday, you know? Like, that way people are not, like, people can be tired on Sunday, but at least they have, like, another day to, like, relax or at least get home, you know? But, like, so, but night 2 was better. They had the Opa versus Brock Lesnar match. I have no clue what that thing going on with the whole Brock Lesnar retiring, not retiring thing. I know that was, like, that's something that people have been talking about. I have no clue, to be honest, but, then, the fantastic match, the Penta, Penta, JD McDonough, Rey Mysterio, Ray Phoenix, right? I think. No, I'm trying to remember the time. Anyway, it was the six-man ladder match. That was pretty cool. That was very good. I very much enjoyed it. That was like, I think, one of the best matches, I think, in general for WrestleMania. But I mean, you got like got a lot of good people in that match. So so yeah, the United States Championship with Trick Williams and Sami Zayn. Obviously Trick won. Then you had the Demon, Finn Balor versus Dominic Mysterio. That was a pretty good one. It was just a good classic match type of thing. It was cool to see the Demon again. Yeah, you had the women's championship with Rhea Ripley and Jade. Like I said, Rhea Ripley won the belt. Oh, and yeah, the heavyweight championship with Roman Reigns and CM Punk. Honest to God, I will say I'm not happy that Roman Reigns again also headlined another WrestleMania, but admittedly, it was a good match. That was a pretty good match. It was pretty good. I can't really complain about that one. There's a lot more going on with that one, and so yeah, it was good. I really enjoyed it. So I don't really have much else to say for that one because it's like, it's not like a bad thing. I don't have much to say. It's more just like a, I don't have much else to say. Yeah, it's that. So yeah, but overall, like, I just, night 1 was really bad. Night 2 is decent enough where, like, I can at least have highlights. I really do think that we should start going to, like, a thing where we just have, I think, a night 1 again. Just one night. And I know some people are gonna groan and be like, oh, why? No, I don't want to watch an 8-hour thing. And it's like, I know, but also, like, I feel like there's a reason for it. Not everyone needs to be on the card. And I really mean that so wholeheartedly. It's like, it sounds awful, but it's just like, some people are just not gonna make it, and it sucks, and it's horrible, and I'm gonna be mad, and you can be mad about it. I'll be mad about it, you know? But it's like, we didn't need that, like, you know, the Vision match versus, like, LA Knight and Usos. We just didn't. There's nothing, like, at all, not really, like, at all necessary to it. Just a matter of fact, just have the championship matches and, like, maybe one or two, like, normal matches or whatever, and then call it a day, man. I don't know. That's why I'm kind of, like, nervous with, like, SummerSlam being 2 nights, because I'm like, are we gonna have something similar to this? Because I don't know. Because that is happening this year, in a few months. So, so I don't know, but it's definitely making me question the booking and things like that, and the direction we're going. Because again, it feels like even like after WrestleMania, it feels very directionless right now. Not to say that Backlash has always been great, but like, I'm more worried of the after effect of like everything, because it's like, yeah, SummerSlam is coming soon in the next few months. That is the second like biggest, you know, pay-per-view is the point. So it's like, I don't feel like we have any direction right now where we're going with this. I know Money in the Bank is soon. But again, I don't, who, I can't even, I mean, the only, like, there's a few people I can think that could be good for, like, Money in the Bank right now, but, like, for the most part, I don't know what they're really wanting to go with that. And it just feels like the creative right now is so, I don't know, even more like, I mean, Vince was like very crazy, you know, controlling, but it feels like extra controlling now more than ever. It just feels obvious there's like some outside influence right now. And I'm not saying that like Triple H is completely 100% innocent with everything, but it's like I feel like people are kind of bashing Triple H more than I think they should be right now. I feel like there should be way more focus of telling TKO to like get their hands out of it, you know, and just let, you know, people who again understand wrestling do their job, you know, is the point. That's kind of more what I, you know, say and, you know, believe in right now. But like for the most part, I know like probably things are only going to get worse before they get better. I think I think the thing that I really am most nervous for is the closer we get to WrestleMania 43, which is going to be in Saudi. And whatever opinion you have or another, um, Saudi is the worst decision to make. Yes, they're gonna make a ton of cash out of it. That's the whole point. That's why they're doing Saudi. But to me, I think them going to Saudi is the worst decision for so many different reasons. And this is not the time or place for it. If I wanted to really go into more detail, I can make a video about this specifically. But again, Saudi is going to be a bad idea. I am hoping and I am begging them to like change their mind. They did it before. You know, they were able to go, no, we're not doing New Orleans. We're gonna do, you know, Las Vegas. Hell, do Las Vegas again. I'd rather than do Las Vegas again than this, you know, than going to Saudi. I know they're not gonna back out of it, or they're gonna have so much pressure to do it that, you know, it has to be like the executives or something to be like, no, we're gonna lose money instead type of thing for them to change their mind or just whatever. So that sucks completely and utterly. So yeah, I had way more other things to talk about. I was gonna talk about the releases, but this is kind of getting a little long anyway, and I'm kind of getting into more a ranty state than like making a message. But yeah, mostly right now, yeah, for WWE, I'm not really happy. I think again we should be definitely more critical on TKO. Not like we're not, but I'm saying like I definitely think TKO is definitely like an issue right now. Do I want to go back to Vince? Hell no. By the way, I want to make that out there. Hell no. I'm glad we're not in Vince era, but God forbid we need something different. You know, we need definitely a different direction in general. So hopefully, again, we'll get there. But I think, like I said, it's gonna get worse before it gets better. That way, God forbid, I hope SummerSlam at least has a better turnaround and has something more interesting to offer. I don't know what Backlash is going to be like, but I definitely will be watching it mostly for the Danhausen and Miz, you know, and I'm blanking things, you know, for like them Danhausen, mostly for the Danhausen tag team, like who's going to be his tag partner, and of course the Trick Williams and Sami Zayn thing because I'm also curious where that's going to go. So, but otherwise, kind of don't care. Unfortunately, recently for like most of the stuff. So, oh well. But yeah, yeah, don't got much else though. I mean, well, I do, but I'm going to just keep it at the WrestleMania and just the overall wrestling issue, thing in general. But if you want me to talk about more stuff, let me know. I could make a separate video. Like I said, talking about the Saudi thing or even the releases itself and what my thoughts are for that. But um, yeah. Uh, like I said, going back to like the streaming thing, I will try to finish Coffee Talk too, so hopefully next week I will be doing that. Like I said, the moment I'm gonna go on hiatus, there will be a video upload of me going into more detail and talking about that, so you won't miss out on details or anything. But yeah, for right now, hopefully I will force myself to do Coffee Talk 2 next week and get as far as I can. Um, so I can finish it, you know, that way so I don't leave you guys hanging, at least when it comes to that. Um, but yeah, I hope you all enjoyed the stream. If you like it, if you dislike it, comment below. Like I said, if you want me to do more wrestling stuff, if you want me to talk about any would have mentioned more in detail in a video, let me know. Subscribe, and yeah, I'll see you guys hopefully, with Coffee Talk 2 next time. So yeah, bye guys.